Hello, Vidya madam, are you there? Hello, Vidya madam, are you there? Hello, Vidya madam. Hello,
Hello. Yes.
hello. I
Hello,
just
ma'am.
wanted to check whether I can show. Can you make me a co-host so that I will just check?
Yeah. Yes. We are doing. मॅम केले तुम्हाला कोर्स
Okay, आता मला दिसते. Okay, so I will just try to share my screen.
तुम्ही काय करा तिकडून ऐकत राहा तिकडून ऍडमिट करत राहा कारण हा एकदा
Okay, so ma'am,
लाईव्ह ऑन युट्यूब
just
पण आपण केलंय मॅडम.
can you see
येस
my
मॅम दिसतंय
screen?
दिसतंय.
दिसतंय ना व्यवस्थित? आणि माझा आवाज पण ऐकायला येतोय.
येस मॅम येस
Okay,
येस काही
okay.
प्रॉब्लेम हो अगदी व्यवस्थित काहीच इश्यू
Okay,
नाही. मी
thank you,
बघूया
thank
जरा
you.
मुलं ऍड करून घेतो आणि मग आपण
हां,
इथून
चालेल, चालेल. ठीक आहे, ठीक
येत आहेत एक 5 मिनिटं चालू
आहे. हो,
ठेव.
चालेल, चालेल.
ओके ठीक.
ओके.
Uh,
येस.
227. आपण किती वेळ वाट बघणार आहोत काही असं म्हणजे टू स्टार्ट द लेक्चर?
5 minutes.
या, चालेल.
Hello, madam.
हॅलो.
Hello.
येस मॅडम, बोला.
Hello, Sai madam.
हां, बोला ना.
Are you there?
येस, आय एम देअर. कॅन यू हिअर मी?
Hello, can you hear me, ma'am?
येस, आय कॅन हिअर यू. कॅन यू हिअर मी?
Yeah. Now I can.
येस.
So, can we proceed?
येस, येस. आय एम ऑल राईट.
Okay. So, welcome you all MSc Part 1 and MA Part 1 students from our college. Here, we are gathered here for the cybersecurity lectures. This is a one module extra credits, module 1 star lectures. These lectures are conducted by our own college department, computer science department. And today we are with us Sai ma'am, who is going to take a module 1. So I welcome Sai ma'am, and over to you, madam.
Okay, thank you, madam. Thank you, Vidya, madam, first of all, for giving me this opportunity. Okay, and I welcome you all to this 4-day lecture series. In these 4 days, we are going to cover the syllabus for first module in cybersecurity lectures. So I will be sharing the PPT soon, and then we will start with the lecture. If anyone has any queries before starting the lecture, you can ask me right now. If you have any other queries, we are going to have a question answer session at the end of the lecture. Okay. Now, considering that there is a very large amount of students in this particular meeting, so we can expect a kind of lag or network issue here. So I will suggest before only that please everyone make sure that you keep your video and audio off. Yeah, whenever I will ask you to, if there is any situation where I want to ask you to unmute yourself, I will say like that, then you can unmute and ask me questions. But otherwise, just keep your audios and videos off so that we will get maximum clarity in this particular transmission. Okay, I'm sharing the PPT, and after that, I will be again switching off my video considering the size of the call. Okay. So let me share the PPT first.
Excuse me, madam.
Yes.
Madam, मैं एक मिनट बोलूं?
हाँ बोलो ना मैडम.
Ma'am, the students, for students, it is all lectures are compulsory. We will
Yes.
not provide you any of the study material other than this. So that exam, which is mandatory for you on, which will be on holding on 15th of April. Okay. 15 एप्रिलला आपल्याला जी कंपल्सरी परीक्षा आहे ती तुम्हाला द्यायची याच्यावर, आणि याच्यावरच्या कुठल्याही नोट्स परत वेगळ्या तुम्हाला दिल्या जाणार नाही. सो your attendance and is compulsory, right? Mandatory. Pay attention and hope you will enjoy the series. No problem. Okay, ma'am. So thank you, madam.
Thank you. So let me share PPT. Now I'm sharing my PPT. If anyone has any problem in viewing this particular PPT, just ask me out or tell me right now, then I will do the needful. So once I will wait a minute for everyone to make sure that they are able to view this PPT. If anyone is having any problem, if the PPT is not visible to them, please tell me right now, because this is where you are going to get or you are going to learn the things from. Okay. So I consider that everyone is able to hear me and we view the PPT. Okay. Is it good with everyone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you,
ma'am.
madam. Okay, thank you. So I will just
Yes.
put off the video to make sure that the bandwidth is enough. Okay. So now, as you all know, we are going to complete in these 4 days the module 1 of cybersecurity. The name of the module is Prerequisites in Information and Network Security. Okay. So basically in this module, you will learn basic things, way basic things. I'm talking about way basic things about networking, and then what is cyber security, what are cyber crimes and everything like that. So it's, as I told you, it's a way basic module. There are more modules that you are going to learn in the period of time. So in this particular module, you will be introduced with what is internet or what is network and how all these things, because right now the thing is like everyone is on internet, everyone is using all these things. Only thing that we are going to give you is a view or information about what is going behind the curtains. Okay, every one of you have your social media accounts, every one of you is using internet every day for your right now. In the entire pandemic, this one complete semester we have conducted or experienced the lectures online, so we are using all these things at a very big extent. Okay, now considering this, what are the things that can happen? So as you know, it's human nature that whatever comes to them, there is a possibility that people will misuse it. So what can be the misuse, or how to protect yourself from the misuse of these things? Because this is the technology of future, you cannot stay away from it. You cannot be just there sitting in the woods saying that no, I don't want to use any internet. If you want to have a flourish life, you are going to use this technology. So obviously this is an attempt to make you aware of what is there, whatever you are using, whatever you are using. So at much extent, what is there, what are the threats or what are the possible threats that may come to you, and how you are supposed to take care of yourself to make sure that you don't get victimized by the use of internet. Okay, so this is entirely the background or the thought behind putting this course, because you all must be thinking like, okay, we are having our course, like I'm doing my MSc in chemistry, why am I supposed to know about cybersecurity? So this is kind of a thing which is introducing you with whatever is today's technology. Okay, so it's a attempt to make you aware user of internet. Okay, so with this note we will start our first chapter in this module, that is the overview of networking concepts that we are going to complete today. This is chapter 1. There are 4 chapters, so 4 days, so every day we are going to complete one chapter. So first chapter is overview of networking concepts. In this chapter, we are going to we are going to start with what is network, and we are going to aim at the note that how this entire communication system, which is started from just joining two computers with each other, extended up to internet. So here you can see, if you go through the points here, the basics of communication system, we will start from there and we will end at the note of the internet. So this chapter is entirely going to give you a overview of how things started and where we are right now. Okay, so these are the different things that we are going to learn today. First is basics of communication systems. Then when there is communication, there must be a media or medium to transmit. So we are going to learn about the transmission media that is used to transmit data from one place to another place. Okay, then comes the topologies and types of networks. So whenever there is network, whenever there are things, there will be some arrangement of it. So that arrangement is called as topology. So how the things are arranged in this network, depending on that we will have different types of networks with different arrangements. That is topology and types of networks. Then comes TCP/IP protocol stack. Now from here we will start with the core networking concepts. Okay, where first thing that you are going to learn is the TCP/IP. Now the students we have who are having little background knowledge of networking, they must be knowing it very well. But for the students who are completely new to networking, TCP/IP is like a set of instructions. So I always say, if you want to go from your home to college, then there are some instructions to you have to open the door of your home, then you have to get out of the home, then you have to say go down the staircases, then open the gate of your society, go out on the streets, you can start walking, or you can take bus, or you can take auto. So this is what, how you, if you want to reach from one place to another place, you have to follow all these set of instructions. Okay, so when I see a protocol, it's nothing but a set of instruction that the data must follow to reach from one place to another place. Okay, and TCP/IP is the most widely used set of instructions, or deck of protocols that is used. So obviously we are going to learn little about TCP/IP. Then comes wireless networking. Now up till TCP/IP, all the things are common. Okay, like previously the networks were wired, then came the wireless networks. Okay, so the things change a little. The same concepts, the same topologies, same protocols change a little when they go from wired to wireless. So we are going to see how wireless networks are little bit different than wired networks which were used previously. So that was the second last point, and at the end we are going to learn something, what is internet. Now the internet is something that everyone thinks that they know about it, everyone is using it, but we don't have the depth of the working knowledge of the internet, how internet works, what is internet. Okay, so we are if the time permits, I will go in the deep of this particular concept, or at least we will learn enough to complete the exam, or to appear for the exam. Okay, so this is what we are going to learn today. So if I think, madam, there are more students joining in continuously. So should we start or should we wait? Hello, Vidya madam. Am I audible to everyone? Someone
Yes,
please.
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
let's start. Let's continue with our lecture. Okay. So the first thing that we have in our syllabus today is the basics of communication system. Okay. So now communication means see, when we talk with anyone, we call it communication. So communication is what we all know what communication is. Then why we are looking at it at separate angle, or why we are calling it communication system? Because it is not communication of two human beings, but this is the communication of two devices. Okay, like when we talk with each other, there are certain things that need to be fulfilled to communicate. Okay, so to communicate, first we should know something that we can share with anybody else. So when I am talking with you, there is a communication happening, right? So what kind of communication is happening? I have some data, some information in my brain that I am putting into some words. So for to put it in some words, in some format, I should have knowledge of the language, right? So if I start talking in some language that is not understood by you, then the communication is worthless, right? उद्या मी इथे आले आणि समजा कानडीतनं लेक्चर द्यायला सुरुवात केलं, if you are not aware of that particular language, that communication is useless, right? So to communicate, even to communication, for the communication of two human beings, what are the things needed? First, there should be some data that needed to be communicated. There should be some format or a language in which the data can be expressed. Now there should be some medium that will convert that data which is in my mind in some words into waves, right? When I'm talking, I'm generating all these waves in the medium available around me. So my mouth is the thing which is converting the knowledge which is in my brain cells into some waves, right? And then the air is the medium, then the mic is there which is grabbing that particular waves and then transmitting over internet, and then it's coming up to you. So if even if we give away this barrier in between, still things should be there. दोन माणसांमध्ये बोलण्यासाठी सुद्धा all these things are needed. So whatever happens when two humans communicate with each other, all those things happen when two machines communicate with each other. So you can see, when we will see the different elements of the communication system, you will understand there is quite a similarity between how the communication happen between humans and how the communication happen between machines. Okay, so whenever I'm saying that the basics of communication system, here we are talking about the communication between two devices. So here you can look at this particular diagram where there is one person having a device, another person is having a device, and one person is the transmitter, one person is receiver, or one device I will say is a receiver, and there is something in between and it is called as medium. Okay, so we will just go through the slide and then we will talk about this more. The communication system is a system which describes the information exchange between two points or two devices. The process of transmission and reception of information is called as communication, that we have already talked about. And then comes the major three things that a communication system should have. What it should have: a transmitter which will give away the information, a receiver which want to receive the information, and there should be some medium between them, so to carry the data or the information from one place to another place. Okay, so now when we are seeing what we are seeing in this diagram is this transmitter, this receiver, and the medium between them is nothing but some magnetic waves or radioactive waves. So this is the tower there. Now there are many things. I mean, when we look at this diagram, as a person who is having basic knowledge of networking, what things one will identify? Okay, so what I should identify that this transmitter and receiver are not connected with each other directly using wires. Okay, यांच्यामध्ये कुठचंही wired communication नाहीये. So they are using a kind of wireless communication system. Okay, so wireless communication system means they must be using some radio waves. Okay, now because the radio waves, the way the radio wave propagate, you can see there is a hill, and these two devices are on two different sides of hill. So radio waves transmitted by this particular device cannot reach this device directly. So for that we have this particular tower in between, which will take, or which will catch the waves coming from the transmitter. It will process it. What kind of processes it, we will see afterwards. And then it will transmit it again, so that the waves will reach up to the receiver. Okay, so because the direct communication is not possible between these two devices, we are introducing a kind of system that will allow the communication to get completed. Okay, so whenever we look at this diagram, these are the things we will identify as a person with networking knowledge. Okay, so what things we are going to identify? There is a transmitter, there is a receiver, the communication is wireless. Okay, as the communication is wireless, it must be using some radioactive or radio waves or microwaves, some kind of waves to communicate. And because the waves cannot go from transmitter to receiver directly because of this hill, we are having a medium, or tower or amplifier or repeater. We can, there are different names given to it. So to complete the communication. Okay, so this is the basic things that we should know about any communication system. Okay, so I hope it is clear to everyone. We will move to next diagram. Now this diagram looks much better now to look at. And now comes the real diagram, the real communication system block diagram. Okay, so now here you can see there are 1 2 3 4 5 blocks in transmitter side itself, and similarly 1 2 3 4 5 6 blocks at receiver side, and then there is something in between. Okay, so this is like more accurate, scientifically accurate diagram of communication system, and whatever we saw previously is a more visually friendly diagram of communication system. Okay, so now what things transmitter has? Transmitter has information source, transmitter has input, that transducer. So actually transducer is something which converts the data from one form to another form. As I told you previously, that the knowledge is there in my brain, but I need my mouth to convert it into words, right? So information is there, but we need some transducer that will convert the data from a format that can be पास सो इफ असं माझ्या ब्रेन मधनं डिरेक्टली तुमच्या ब्रेन पर्यंत नॉलेज नाही जाऊ शकत आय नीड टू कन्वर्ट दॅट नॉलेज इन टू वर्ड्स then I need my mouth to speak those words and then the words will come to you. So similarly we need a transducer that will convert whatever information is there in the source into a format that can be used to transmit. Okay, then comes the amplifiers, the modulars, the antenna. Now the amplifier are those which will increase the strength of the signal so that it can reach up to more strength. म्हणजे, you all know what is amplifier. You all have seen that auto rickshaw going around with amplifier, a person putting an amplifier in front of his mouth, and mostly when elections happen, you can see that particular scene. So that is amplifier. What it is doing, whatever I'm talking, that waves that which are created, that sound waves are amplified. That so similarly whatever microwaves or radioactive waves are created by the transducer to transmit the data, they are amplified by that amplifier so that it can reach a bigger length. Okay, then comes the modular. They module or they convert into higher signal formats so that the wave or whatever the data is that converted into wave format can be modulated. Then there is frequency modulation, but we will see it in next slides again. So and then comes the antenna, which is capable of attracting or creating radioactive waves or microwaves or whatever waves we are using to communicate. Okay, so all these are part of transmitter or transmission system. there will be exactly similar kind of things at receiver, which will back process or reverse process all these things, so that whatever is the original source or original information, we can get back that entire thing into original shape and size. Okay, and in between comes the channel, and here you can see noise is something that is getting added due to channel. So channel is anything that is used as medium of communication between two devices. And as we will see, the transmission media, that is the channels, and this transmission media is the one which is responsible for creating noise or disturbance or any kind of problem in the entire communication. Okay, so like when you are sitting in the classroom and your teacher is giving you some information, the data is getting transmitted from teacher to you. But unfortunately, something like happens that I can hear a WhatsApp message tone on my phone, and now I'm so eager to look at that message that I will just ignore what is happening, and I will look into that phone. So there is a noise in communication. So similar kind of noise is introduced by this medium in whatever communication is happening. Okay, so these are different components of any communication system. Obviously we are going to see these components, elements of communication system, one by one, obviously. So first of all, now I'm going to just read it out because I have explained it previously. First of all is the information. Obviously information is any data that we want to transmit. So it can be any audio data, a video, anything, any numbers, a literature, anything, any information is data. Now you all know, because we are talking about two digital devices communicating with each other, all this data will be in the form of binary. Okay, bits and bytes. So obviously whatever data we have, whatever information we have, it can be anything from the readings of today's temperature to a masterpiece book created by some writer. Anything, anything can be data, and it will be in bit and byte, that is binary format. Okay, now this information is there, it is at one place. Now I want to send this information to another place. Okay, so that is the information. So obviously ना, मी तुम्हाला शिकवण्यासाठी आधी मला माहिती असायला पाहिजे. Similarly, to transmit anything there should be some information, right? Then comes the signal. Signal means signal is a single valued function of time that can be used to carry information. Okay, as I told you, if I want to convert this, or if I want to send this data which is inside my brain to your brains, obviously I need something to express that data. That means I'm talking in English, so English is language. That language is nothing but the signal. Okay, the words, they mean something to you and me both. So there is this signal or this language that is decided upon both of us, we agreed upon both of us, so that you can use this particular kind of signal to transmit data from here to there. Okay, so like if you are playing some game of uno, and if you are having partners, then you can have some signals like, okay, I'm going to place +4 card now. So like that kind of signal. So signals are nothing but any way of communication or any way of expressing the data that is agreed upon both the parties. Okay, so as we have English as a language agreed upon both the parties, so that is signal. So you can see there is no signal in this diagram, because signal is something understood. The signal is something there in not in as like a part of the system, but signal is something that is used to carry the data or to express the data. Okay, then comes the transducer. As I already told you, transducer is a device which converts data from one form of energy to another form. So if I have data in binary format, it is, say it is in some static energy format, it will convert into some wave format. Well, okay, so like I have microphone, then that microphone in which I am talking right now is converting the audio signal that is generated by me in the surrounding area into electric signal. Okay, that's why it is able to go through this entire system and come to you. Or we have photo detectors that will convert the light signals into electrical signal. Now if you have a digital camera, like everyone has a camera to their in their phone, so what it is doing, it is whatever is the light signal, okay, the energy is in there, energy is there in form of light, it will convert that energy into electrical energy. Okay, so anything that converts same energy, or what I can say is same thing, same data from one format to another format. So that's why I given you example. My mouth is transducer, which is converting whatever the information is there in my brain into the language we have agreed upon. So this is the transducer. So there are some transducers that will convert the binary data into microwaves or radiations or something like that. Okay, then comes the amplifier. As I already told you, amplifier will do what? It will increase the strength of the created data so that it can reach up to more part, or it can travel more distances. Okay, so the electric circuits or devices that increase the amplitude or strength of the transmitted signal are called as amplifier. Okay, now there are some more information given or examples given. You can read it from the slide. Then there are modulators. Okay, so now what are modulators? Modulators are some devices which will convert the original signal to some another format so that a large distance can be traveled. Like the original signal may not be transmitted over a large distance because of its problem. Like I'm talking with you, but there is some limit that how what big or what will be the decibel possible decibel I can create. So if I will be able to create any amount of energy from my mouth. We didn't even needed this particular system. मी इकडे माझ्या घरात बसून बोलले असते, तुमच्या घरात ऐकायला आलं असतं. So that's not possible. So that's why we need modulators that will convert the original signals in or in a different format that can travel long distances or whatever is the desired distances, we will say. So we can just go through and see the different types of modulations there. As the original message signals cannot be transmitted over large distance because of their low frequency and amplitude, they are superimposed with high frequency and high amplitude waves called as carrier waves. Okay, so these carrier waves are something that will carry the signal. थोडक्यात धक्का मारतात ते आणि पुढे 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 नेतात त्याला, whatever its signal is there na. So you can think of these waves like if a bar of wood is on the sea waves. So like every time a wave comes, a tide wave come, it will push the bar a little along a little further. So these carrier waves or modulars which are creating carrier waves are similar to that. It will just keep on pushing that block little further. Okay, so this is called as this phenomenon is called as superimposing the message signal. So now there are three different types of modulation. We obviously we just need to know the names of this. We don't need to know the entire detail of all these things. We just need to know the name. Okay, so now you, as you all know, now the data is converted into form of waves. So whenever we say waves, there are three things or three characteristics of waves. Wave have amplitude, wave have frequency, and there is phase to any wave. So there are three techniques of creating carrier waves: by amplitude modulation, by modulating the amplitude of the original signal, by modulating the frequency of the original signal, and by modulating the phase of original signal. Because it's a wave, three important phenomena, and all three phenomena will be modulated for three type of modulations. Okay, so we have AM, FM, and PM. Now FM is something you all know because everyone listens to the FM radio at least so you must have heard to FM radios. Now yours is the generation with unlimited data on their mobile packs, so you never listen to FM. Now you always go to Ghana.com and you know you have every kind of music available. But 10 years before, you can see there wasn't that much data available, so people used to hear FM radios. Okay, so FM radios are the radio signals which are using the frequency modulation technique to make the waves travel. आणि म्हणून FM radioचा problem काय, they carry a large and good amount of data, there is a big bandwidth, but they travel a very short distance. म्हणून मग थोडं पुण्याच्या बाहेर गेलं की FM radio doesn't work. Okay, so that's how these modulation techniques work. Okay, that's the modulator. Then there is transmitter. Now transmitter is the entire arrangement. Okay, so togetherly all these things are called as transmitter. Okay, the data, the signal, the amplifier, the modulator, so togetherly this entire thing or this arrangement is called as transmitter. Okay, now transmitter has one thing, that is antenna. Now antenna are actually the physical structures that are able to radiate and receive electromagnetic signals. So obviously, you know, there are materials which can radiate things. Okay, so you must have seen many antennas as metal rods. Okay, so why metal rods? Because of you now, by now everyone has the basic knowledge of materials that they can emit radiations. Okay, metals, and they can very easily receive the radiations. That's why there are antennas. So these are the devices or physical structures that are capable of radiating and receiving electromagnetic waves. Why receiving also? Because transmitter is sometimes a transmitter and sometimes a receiver. So when the same transmitter is working as receiver, it is going to receive the electromagnetic wave. When the transmitter is transmitting the data, it will work as radioactive waves. Okay, so both things can be done using the same antenna. So there are antenna, and then comes the channel. Okay, so channel is any physical medium. It can be wires or cables or even air or space. Even the waves can traverse through space also, electromagnetic waves. That's why sunlight comes from there to here, right, to earth. So it can be anything from which the electromagnetic waves are traveling, or whatever signal we are sending through our antenna, it's traveling. So whatever comes in between is channel. Now there are many impairments or problems that can happen due to these channels. As I told you, channels can are the basic introductors of any kind of problems. So what can be these? These are noise, attenuation, and distortion. Obviously these are three more very important impairments that we all should always know. That's why in the next slide we are going to talk about them. Okay, so you have to remember just now that the channels are any kind of material that is used for communication, and they introduce three kind of problems or impairments: noise, attenuation, and distortion. Okay, then as you have seen, all other things are okay, but most important thing is the transmission media or the channels. Okay, so now we are moving to next point in the syllabus, that is transmission media. So before going further, I just wanted to make sure that everyone is following with me. So I want you all to remember whatever things I have talked with. I will just go back and show you all the slides so that if you have any question regarding it, you can ask me in chat box. Everyone is having access to chat box, right? So just if you feel like any question, just ask me right now, then we will go further. Okay, so this was the diagram, block diagram. Then we have seen every single part or every single element separately. Okay, so we have completed first point. So can we move to next point? If you have any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
It looks like no one is having any question. Okay, so let's move to next point. Okay, so the next thing, as we have already seen, that whatever problems can be caused or whatever is happening in there is because of the transmission medium or media which we are using to transmit data from one place to another place. So we are going to look in brief and what are the different problems or impairments that are caused by this media. Okay, so transmission media is a communication channel that carries the information from sender to receiver. It lies in between. Okay, it is a physical path between transmitter and receiver. So you have to always remember transmission media is the physical phenomenon, okay, or a physical component of the communication system. Okay, so what is the important thing or the main functionality of transmission media? It transmits uh, information in the form of bits through network, and data is transmitted through electromagnetic signal. We have seen that entire communication is happening in the form of electromagnetic signals. So they can be traveling through wire, they can be traveling through space, they can be traveling through air. However they are traveling, everything is counted as transmission media. The characteristics and quality of data transmission are determined the characteristics by the medium and the signal. So whatever is the type of signal you are using, so now by now we know some phases. So whatever is the quality of transmission happening, now you can understand it very well. What are the things which affect it? First of all, the signal, right? The medium you have chosen for communication. Okay, so if you have used a completely wrong medium for communication, obviously whatever may be the system lying behind, how good that system is, if that medium itself is wrong, then nothing is useful for that. For example, if I am giving you a lecture, I'm giving you a very good lecture, a lot of information, but I'm talking a language which is, say I'm talking in Japanese, which none of you understand. So the signal itself is wrong. No use of it. Okay, so the signal must be right. Then the medium must be right. Obviously मला खूप छान येतंय, मी तुम्हाला खूप चांगलं लेक्चर देते, but the internet is not working at my place, or my microphone is not working, which is carrying the signal. There is no use of it. Okay, so if there is no right medium that is traveling, or the Wi-Fi connection at my place is working very good, but it is not receiving proper signal, say because of clouds. So we are using the environment around us as medium. Okay, so if there are clouds and no signal is getting transmitted properly, no use of having good signal or good devices, right? So the medium must be good, the signal must be good. And third thing that sometimes make a very much difference is the carrier waves. Okay, so what kind of carrier waves you are using, what kind of modulation technique you are using to travel. Now the modulation technique obviously depends, or it's a predefined phenomenon that should be chosen according to your needs. So do you need your data to travel long distances, or you need your data to travel short distances? Depending upon that, you are going to use the right kind of modulation. So modulation and signal will be decided previously. So what remains after that is the medium. Okay, so the medium is going to create all kind of good and bad effects on the communication happening. Okay, so the transmission media is of two types: wired media and wireless media. Okay, so currently what we are having is say we are using in this communication which is happening right now, we are using all kinds of media, right? So there is a wire which is going from my microphone to my laptop, so obviously it's a wired media. There is a wire which is connecting my Wi-Fi router to the main antenna, so obviously there is a wired medium. But in between, my laptop is communicating with the router wirelessly, there is no wire in between, so there is a wireless medium. Similarly, if you are listening to this lecture using, say, your mobile phones, so obviously you are receiving the signal through air, there is no wire attached, so there is wireless medium. So right now, you can see no communication nowadays completely happen with wired or wireless. Okay, we use a large combination or hybrid combination of communication technologies to carry out the communications. Okay, so that's the real scenario. but still we are going to learn about the wired mediums and wireless medium. Okay, in wire media, there are physical wires in between the communicating devices. So one device is connected to another device using wires, and another is wireless media where signal is the characteristic. So they are communicating with waves or electromagnetic signals. Okay, now, the different transmission media have different properties such as bandwidth, delay, cost, etc. Okay, so these are some important, or these are three important characteristics of any transmission media we will always discuss about. So first thing that we are going to talk about whenever we are choosing or we are talking about transmission media is the bandwidth of the media. So you must be listening about there were 2G, then 3G, then 4G, and this G and that G. So what is this? This is the capacity of my medium, or whatever is I'm using as a medium for communication, of carrying the data in a single bus. Okay, so that is the bandwidth, how much I can carry in single bus. That is my bandwidth, or that is my capacity. Okay, so the bandwidth is the capacity of your medium, that at what rate it can transmit data. Okay, so all the factors are remaining constant. Greater the bandwidth of the medium, higher is the data transmission rate. Okay, so if you are trying to compare two mediums with each other, you can always compare them on the basis of their bandwidth. So how much bandwidth they can provide, how much transmission capacity they can provide. Okay, then second important characteristics is the transmission impairments. We are having a dedicated slide next for transmission impairments. So transmission impairments are the good or bad effects the media or medium is imposing on your communication. Okay, and interface. Now there is medium and there is device. An interface is defined as the process of uh, disturbing the signal when the travels or communication medium on the addition of some unwanted signal. Okay, so inference is something that is coming in between, like तुम्ही सगळ्यांनी call चुकीचा कॉल करणे, you are calling someone, then someone else is receiving your call, so we call it cross connection. So interference is something that is coming in between. Okay, it is not the bad quality of the media. Transmission impairment is bad quality of the media. If there is there is something happening with my network because of the quality of the media, then it is transmission impairment. But if something is coming in between, some unwanted signal is coming in between, then it will be interference, not transmission impairment. Okay, so interference is now the thing which actually created this entire cybersecurity thing. Okay, so someone may be interfering unknowingly, but someone may be interfering in your signal or in your communication with some intention, some ill intentions, and then it comes like and then it becomes the forensic activity or a crime in cyber world. Okay, so interference, that is one signal getting mixed with another signal. So this can happen due to some problems in the traveling media, or someone may be doing it intentionally. Okay, but that is interference. And if something is happening due to quality of my transmission media, then it is transmission impairment. Okay, so these are the different types of transmission media that can be used for from taking or sending signal from one place to another place. Okay, so now the this entire classification we are just going through it from in this diagram itself. Someone has raised the hand. Any question? Okay, there are people raising the hand. If you have any question, you can just unmute and ask me questions. Hello, Arya. Do you have any questions?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, sorry, student by mistake. I was just setting up my charger.
You're not audible enough. Okay. Anyway, just you can, if you have any question, you can always ask me in the chat box. Okay. So
Yes, ma'am.
that's why that's what I will suggest. कारण काय होतं सगळे जणांनी जर क्वेश्चन
Yeah,
विचारायला सुरुवात केली, it becomes little annoying. So you can,
yeah.
everyone is having access to chat box, right? So if you have any question, just go to chat box and ask me questions. I'm looking at the chat box. So if you have any questions, I will be able to see that. Okay. Okay. So now we were talking about the different kinds of different types of transmission mediums that can be used to uh, take our data from one place to another place. Now, as I told you, we are going to talk about these mediums in this diagram only. I'm not going to give you a detailed list of all these mediums because I know there is a very short time and you don't have time to study like a 600-page book, obviously. So I'm going to give you brief information about all these, and that will be enough for you to at par the exam. Okay. So first, guided and unguided. Okay. So basically there these two types are created depending upon whether you are taking a signal from one place to another place specifically, or you are just giving out the signal and the signal will go and reach the desired destination. Okay. So guided and unguided media is like you are having a school bus to go to the school, where your parents hand over you at their doorstep to the school bus guy, and then that person takes you to the school and it will hand you over to the teacher. So obviously the signal, that is you or the message, doesn't have any option where to go. You have to go from your home to your school only, because it is a guided media. But when you go to college and there is no more school bus, you just get out of the house at 8 a.m. saying that you are going to college. But now it's up to you. You can decide your route. So you can be going to the college, but instead of 12, you can reach there at 4:30, because it's up to you how to travel the entire path. Okay. So guided media has a fixed direction in which the signal will travel. Unguided media will allow you or will give you path to go from one place to another, but how and which path to take is up to that particular message itself. The message will decide its own path. So you can always think about guided media as a school bus, and unguided media is coming to college. It's up to you. The message is going to decide how it's going to travel the entire path. Okay. In the guided media, you can see there are all kind of cables, because these cables are point to point connections, one device to another device. So when I say my microphone is connected with my laptop using cable, obviously whatever is the communication is going to happen in between my microphone and laptop is guided now. Okay. So it's not possible that data from my microphone will go and reach some another laptop. It is paired, like fixed pairing. It will go into my laptop only. Okay. So guided media has three types of cables: fiber optic cable, twisted cables, and coaxial cables. Now you all must have seen all these three kinds of cables. Coaxial cables तुमच्या सगळ्यांच्या घरात तुमच्या टाटा स्कायच्या डिशची केबल आलेली असेल बघा, किंवा whatever, not Tata Sky, whatever dish you are having or whatever connection you are having, you must have seen there is a thick black or gray color wire with a thick metal wire in between and lot of shielding plastic covering uh, around it. Okay. That is coaxial cable. Then there are two types of coaxial cable: baseband cables and broadband cables. It's again the bandwidth of both the cables is different. So broadband cable has bigger bandwidth, baseband cable has lesser bandwidth. Okay. But that's the coaxial cable. Fiber optic cable, you must have seen these white color cables somewhere. These are fiber optic cables. They carry the signal in the form of optic, that is light. If light एनर्जीच्या फॉर्मॅटमध्ये सिग्नल घेऊन जातात ते. So that's why they are called as fiber optics. And then twisted pair cables. Now twisted cables you can see everywhere. You can see those twisted cables. There are two cables twisted with each other. You can see a mm, thick cable created by twisting two cables. Okay, so these are twisted pair cables. They come in shielded and non-shielded. Shielded means they have a shielding around them. Now this the cost increases because of the shielding, but it provides a kind of covering or a kind of protection to the data that is traveling through these twisted pairs. Okay, so these are the three types of cables basically, and these all come as a guided media. In unguided media, you can see there are three kinds of waves: radio waves, microwaves, and infrared waves. Okay, so these are the three kinds of waves that are used for transmitting data in unguided media. So obviously, because these are waves, whatever signal we are, whatever data we are, they will just transmit it in the medium, and now it's up to the receiver to catch the signal and get the data. Okay, so you should have a antenna that will catch the signal. Then you will have an protocol that will identify whether that signal is intended for you or not. ओके, असं नाही ना होत की मोबाईलचा कॉल मी लावला ह्या फोनवरती आहे आणि शेजारीच दुसरा फोन ठेवलेला आहे, तो फोन वाजायला लागलाय. Not going to happen. Why? Because when I call from one phone to another phone, whatever is signal sent from one phone to another phone, it is unguided media signal, so it reaches each and every phone around, but the phone knows whether it is for it or not. Okay, so it will not answer if it is not for him. So it depends upon the devices to receive the signal. Okay, so is the as we say in networking, it is the responsibility of the receiver to identify and read the signal. Okay, the transmitter will just transmit it in the available medium. Okay, so this is called as the classification of transmission media. There are different types of transmission mediums. Okay, and then comes the transmission impairments. Okay, after this slide I'm going to stop again for a few minutes, and that will give you time to review this point, and then if you don't have any question, we will move to next point. Okay, now the transmission impairments, as I told you previously, are the problems. Okay, I have a question: is it possible to carry electrical signal through optical medium? How we can do that? Optical medium is what? It's something which is carrying the data in the form of optics. Okay, so electric and optic are two different formats of the data, right? Or I can say two different signals. Okay, it's like you're saying you're comparing same content in Marathi and same content in English. So if the content is in English, it is always be in English. If the content is in this for, so these are two different signals. So obviously the signal has to travel its own medium. Otherwise, if you want to convert it, then you have to convert it to some compatible signals. Okay, directly no, you cannot. Okay, so we are talking about transmission impairments. So these are the three kind of problems or three kind of issues that occur because of the quality of the medium. Now we are not talking about interference, we are talking about the quality of the medium. Because of the properties of that particular medium, uh, these impairments happen. So first impairment is attenuation. So attenuation is like you all know, when we speak, we create some kind of energy, and that sound wave is entered into the medium, that is the air around us, and it may travel say 10 feet, 15 feet. If someone like me is there, then I can my students know I can I have enough loud noise voice that can reach even 20 feet. Okay, so obviously but after 20 feet it's going to die. Whatever the energy I have given it, it will get converted into different forms, and that signal will die. Okay, so attenuation means the signal will lose its energy once it start traveling. In the process of travel, it will lose its energy, and that is called as attenuation. Now, for this we have repeaters or amplifiers. So first of all, we have amplifiers which will start the signal with high energy, first thing, and then we have repeaters that will supply more energy in the path in between, so that the signal will keep on moving. Okay, so we have repeaters to deal with the problem of attenuation. Okay, so that was the first. Now second comes the distortion. Distortion means any kind of difference or deterioration that happens with the signal. So in distortion, what happens is it is not losing energy, but it is losing some data or some bit. So distortion is of different types. Obviously there are different distortion, but distortion is something that changes the format or changes the data itself due to the characteristics of the underlying material. Okay, so now you can understand distortion by this, that if you have a picture, you have taken a picture from a phone. So now you have a very good phone with high megapixel camera. So you have taken a very beautiful and very clear, crystal clear picture of the scene. Now you decide to send this picture from your phone to some another place. So you have sent it over internet as an attachment to your friend. But sometime it happens like whatever you see at your place in your phone, not same thing is visible at the end. Okay, so it gets little distorted. So there are different kind of so some color may get changed, or there are some patches in the picture. Okay, so all these things that happen, that changes the original signal, is called as distortion. It will disintegrate the original signal. Okay, and this is because of the medium of or the properties of that particular medium, underlying medium. Okay, so like you all must have experienced this. Whenever there are clouds in the your vicinity, the picture quality of your TV gets distorted, so you get a distorted picture. So that is distortion. Okay, uh, does anybody has any questions? कारण कुणीतरी माइक ऑन केलाय. मानसी.
Ma'am, what is the actual difference between decreasing strength of the signal and shape of the signal?
Okay, so when I say attenuation is happening, that means the signal is losing its energy, so that it is not able to move further. But the original data is not changed, the format of the data is not changed. So I can add a repeater after some time, which will just repeat whatever is there. So say signal starts from a space, say point A, device A. It traveled some distance. Now it is losing its energy. It's energy, right? So it will lose energy because of the surrounding material, or whatever medium it is traveling through. So I will it hasn't lost any data, it just lost its energy. The original data is there, data is not distorted or disintegrated. So I will just the carrier wave, I will just give more energy to the carrier wave, and now the with new energy, the carrier wave will take that particular signal to up to say next repeater, from that repeater to say destination. Okay, the original signal or original data is not hampered. But in distortion, what happens is it's not losing its energy because of something. Like if I'm sending my data says through some wired cable. Okay, एखाद्या केबल मधनं माझा डेटा जातोय. सो मे बी देर इज सम से तुमची केबल कुठेतरी अडकली किंवा ट्विस्ट झाली. सो बिकॉज ऑफ दॅट पर्टिक्युलर ट्विस्ट or that particular problem in your carrying material or the medium, the signal doesn't go further in the same format. ओके, म्हणजे आपलं जे पिक्चर ओरिजिनल होतं से ओरिजिनल पिक्चर मध्ये माझ्या काही पॉइंट्स आहेत की जे समजा रेड कलर मधला एखादा काहीतरी पॉइंट आहे. सो आय हॅव सेव्ड द डेटा लाईक this particular patch of or these pixels in my picture are of this particular RGB construction. So RGB is the format of representing color. So now because of this problem in the that RGB value changed. Okay, if the RGB value even changed by one fraction of something म्हणजे 0.11 नी जरी change झाली, it's going to change the actual color of that part of my picture. Okay, just because there is some problem in my underlying medium. Okay, so distortion happens because of the problems in the underlying medium, whereas attenuation is natural property of any medium to decrease the energy. Okay, and distortion is when some wrong thing happens or some kind of problem is there in my medium. Okay, it will change the shape of my signal. Have you understood?
Yes, ma'am, understood.
Okay, and last thing that is called as noise. Okay, so noise, we all use this word noise. So noise is anything that we don't want to hear but we are hearing. Okay, आपल्याला नको असताना आपल्या कानावर पडलेल्या गोष्टी, so you call that noise. Okay, and when we transmit data over the medium, obviously the medium is not dedicated for our own signal itself. So there will be many other signals or many other datas or messages that are traveling over same medium. Now because of this, sometimes what happens is some unwanted signal gets mixed up with our signal. Okay, and this is called as noise. Okay, so in for right now when we are communicating with each other, your mobile network that you are using, the same network you are using for listening to this lecture, the same medium is being used by your sim card for receiving calls and everything. So there are so many different signals traveling or messages that are traveling through same medium, and because of this unwanted signal get mixed with our original messages. Now what kind of noise it creates, we will see. If it is an audio, then you can see you can hear uh, audio with not सेम फ्रिक्वेन्सी, म्हणजे कधी एकदम जोरात ऐकू येतं, कधी एकदम कमी ऐकू येतं. सो दिस इज changing frequency audios. Or if you are sending again a picture, then sometime it happens, we call in our terminology called it salt and pepper noise. So salt and pepper noise is added to multimedias, videos or images, where small black and white dots or one or both, व्हाईट डॉट्स असतील किंवा ब्लॅक डॉट्स असतील किंवा बोथ असतील, व्हेरी मायन्यूट ब्लॅक डॉट्स or very minute white dots are seen all over the picture. And that is called as and that is why it is called as salt and pepper noise. So this is something which is not there in the original picture getting added to my signal because of the traveling. So that is called as noise. Okay, so these are three things: attenuation, distortion, and noise, or three issues that happen with original messages while traveling over medium. Okay, so have you understood this? I will just go back to these slides, 4 slides that we have completed. Transmission media. What is transmission media? These are the three important things that we consider when we are talking about transmission media. These are different kinds of transmission media, types of transmission media, and the transmission impairments. Okay, so if there is any question regarding this, you can type in the chat box, or we will move to next slide. Okay, so looks like there is no question regarding whatever we had completed till now. Now we will move to next point, that is network topologies. Okay, now we have seen how the things are the communication is happening and the devices are connected with each other to communicate and everything. Now topology is arrangement of different devices, different communicating devices. The particular arrangement is made to make sure that the communication happens in better way. Okay, so over the time different kinds of arrangements were introduced for these devices, how to connect these devices to each other, and these arrangements are called as topology. So this has some root in Greek root. This word topology has a Greek root which means arrangement of the things. Okay, so obviously topology is nothing but arrangement of the different devices which are part of that entire communication network. Okay, so there are two main topologies of any communication network, that is physical topology, that is physical arrangement of the devices, and logical arrangement of the devices. Okay, so now in wired networks the physical topology is given very much importance, because these are wired networks. Physically we are connecting one machine to another machine or one device to another device. That's why the physical topology of all the communicating devices becomes very important. Whereas in the logical topology, when there is wireless communication, the logical topology is very important, because that is going to decide the route or the path your signal is going to take to go from source to destination. Okay, so there are two kinds of topologies or two kinds of arrangement: physical arrangement of all the communicating devices and logical arrangement of all communicating devices. Okay, so now in network topology, we are going to learn about the physical topologies. So there are mainly six topologies. Actually there are five topologies and sixth one is just a combination of everything, so we call it hybrid topology. Okay, so there are bus, ring, star, mesh, tree. These are five topologies or five arrangements that are made of devices, physical arrangements, and hybrid is combination of all. Okay, so now you can at the end you will see that hybrid is the most working topology of all. Okay, so now we will see all these six topologies one by one. Okay, so now you can see instead of looking at the contents for any topology, remember these diagrams. For every topology I have given diagrams, and this diagram will help you to remember the topology very easily. So now bus topology has a base path. Okay, a single bus, we call this a single bus. This is very simple, straight main bus or main cable is there, and all the communicating devices are connected to the same bus. Okay, so it is like one main road going in between, and all the houses are on that same road only. Okay, so you don't have to take any curve or turn or anything anywhere. You have to travel straight line. Whenever your destination will come, you will go down, otherwise you will be still traveling over that particular bus. Okay, so that's why it is called as bus. So you will travel through the bus. Whenever your destination will come, you will go down. That kind of uh, arrangement is there. Now obviously this was the most basic topology, and you have to remember there is big limitation to this topology, that very l- small number of devices can be connected with each other using this kind of topology. Why? Obviously because single cable has limitation. So now you all know, because it's a physical cable, that cable will have a particular band capacity. Okay, and that band capacity is the thing that we can uh, divide between all the devices communicating over it. Okay, so obviously the capacity is limited, so obviously a fixed number of devices only can communicate over that particular bus. But it's very simple, less expensive, and very simple to implement. A single cable or main bus or main cable is there, and everything is connected to that particular bus itself. Okay, so this is node 1, node 2, node 3, node 4 are these four are the devices. Now this cable end terminator, so this is these terminators show the end of cable, and these are called as the taps. Taps are connection or connectors that allow a device to connect to the bus or the main cable. Okay, so these taps can be switches or anything else that is connecting the device with the main cable. So it's a very simplest form of arrangement. Okay, then comes the ring. So instead of a straight line, now I have a circular arrangement. Now what happens in the ring is here you can see there are nodes, then there are indicators, there is a main cable, there are tabs to connect with it. Nothing like that is there. So what we do is one-to-one pair connections are created in between nodes in circular manner. Means node 1 is connected with node 2, node 2 is connected with node 3, node 3 to node 4, node 4 back to node 1. Okay, circular manner. Okay, so the data will travel from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 1. Okay, that's the only, so direction of the flow, unidirectional traversal of the data. So data, if node 1 wants to send data to node 4, what it will do, it will send data to node 2 and it will tell node 2 to transmit it further, because this data is for node 4. So node 2 will send the data to node 3. That's the only the place where node 2 can send the data, and it will tell node 3 to transmit it further to node 4, because the message is intended for node 4. The node 4 will give it to so node 3 will give it to node 4. Now the data reached its destination. If node 2 wants to send any message to node 1, okay, again this message will go from node 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and 4 to 1. That is what we mean by unidirectional circular data communication. Okay, so now what is the advantage of this? It is most unexpensive communication network. Why? Because there are no taps, no main cables, nothing like that. We don't want any different connectors to connect with the device. We don't want to identify to which device this particular message is intended. Okay, इथे जर तुम्ही बघितलं तर इथून ज्या वेळेला मेसेज पास होत गेला तेव्हा त्याने नोड समजा नोड 1 पासून नोड 4 ला मेसेज जात असेल, it should pass all the taps of node 3, node 2, and it will go only to the tap of node 4. Instead of that, here there is no such question. If I'm sending data from 1, it will always go to 2. If the state 2 is sending data, it will always go through 3. Okay, so it is unexpensive in terms of physical structure as well as logical structure. Extremely unexpensive. But obviously you can see the drawback is, if I want to send data from 1 to 4, I have to travel through 2 and 3 unnecessarily. So unnecessary repetitions of the data are happening. So when this particular arrangement is useful, when we have a very low, like 4 or 5 number of machines communicating with each other, and second, there is no security concern. All these machines should be at the same level of security. Why? Because the data intended for node 4, I am sending it to node 2. So I am trusting node 2 for sending the data further. So all these machines communicating with each other must be at the same level of security, because we want to trust it with our data. Okay, so that is the most simple, but obviously there are drawbacks of it. Okay, so that is ring topology. Then there is star. Now star topology was the basic topology that gave rise to logical topology called as client server. Okay, so star is the physical topology, and the logical topology that evolved from it is the client and server technology or topology. Now in star topology, there is a central device or hub to which all the nodes are connected. So what is the advantage of this particular ring topology? That there is peer-to-peer connection, which ट्रान्समिट द डेटा व्हेरी फास्ट. जेव्हाही पेअर टू पेअर कनेक्शन असतं, एक मशीन डिरेक्टली दुसऱ्याला जोडलेलं असतं, दॅट इज द फास्टेस्ट वे ऑफ डेटा ट्रान्सफर. ओके, सो फॉर दॅट what we do is we have this central hub or switch, and this central hub is connected with peer-to-peer connections with every other machine in the network. Okay, so if I want to send data from node 3 to node 6, I am sending, everyone is sending data to central hub. Now it is responsibility of hub or switch to take data from 3 and give it to 6. So it will just read the headers, it will identify to whom this particular data is intended, it will pass the data to that particular machine. Similarly, node 6 will be listening only to the central hub. My machine is not listening to anybody else, it is only listening to central hub. So everything that goes in between is always going through this central hub. So obviously there are advantages. Because of pair to pair connection, it is very fast, accepted. Second, because of the central hub, the security of the data is not compromised. If I want to send data to 6, it will only go to 6, it will not go to anybody else. Okay, so security is not hampered, which was getting hampered in my ring topology. But here, because of the central hub, as the number of machines increases, this middle hub or the switch, it work increases exponentially. Okay, if we are introducing only one node into our system, it has to communicate with all other nodes in the system. So addition of new devices increases the complexity of the work of the hub exponentially. So obviously it will not work well with lot of devices. Okay, because there will be physical and logical restriction on how many devices a single hub can entertain. Okay, so obviously it is fast, no security hazard, but it first the cost increased because of the central hub, and second, limitation of the central hubs. Okay, so these are the two things that will decide the capacity of this particular topology. Give me a second, I can see there are few students in the room. I will just let them enter, I will admit them. Okay, very good. Okay, then comes the next topology, that is mesh topology. Okay, so it is like a mesh of wires or connections that is connecting each machine to a someone. Mansi, your mic is on. Okay, thanks. Somebody else also has their mic on. Please, if you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, just mute yourself. Who is there? Someone's mic is on. Please switch off the mic. Hello. Vidya madam. Vidya madam. No, Kaveri. Who is Kaveri? Okay. Okay, so we were talking about this mesh topology. Now, mesh topology is connecting with everyone. Okay, because pair-to-pair connections are very fast now. So let pair with everyone. Okay, so now there are two types: partial mesh and full mesh. In full mesh, one node is connected with each and every other node in the system. म्हणजे एक device है. So if there are 10 devices, my device will be pair to pair connected with all 9 devices. Okay, so there will be 9 communication pair channels connected with my device to communicate with other 9 devices. Okay, so obviously you can understand it's mesh. There will be lots and lots of cables. obviously, in my entire network. So fast, yes. Secure, very much. Okay, so these two things are there. The communication is very fast, direct communication, and so no security problem. If I want to send some data from node 1 to 3, it will directly go from node 1 to 3. No security hazard, and it will be very fast. But because it's mesh, I have to connect each and every machine to each every other machine, so it is very expensive to implement. Okay, and that is why it is very expensive, but it is very fast and secure. So whenever there is important things like, or important devices, say we have a security hub, आपल्या आर्मीचं किंवा एखाद्याचं एखादं सिक्युरिटी हब आहे, सो आय वॉन्ट टू कनेक्ट द डिव्हाइसेस देअर. Obviously, I don't want to think about money, but I want to think about the fastness and security. Then I can go for mesh. Okay, so that's the mesh topology. And then comes the bus tree topology. Okay, so the tree topology is, you can say, extended version of the original star topology. In star topology, there was a single hub in between and all the machines were connected to this hub. Instead of that, what we did that, we have created a network of hub. So there is a root hub which is at the base. Now this root hub is connected with some more hubs. These hubs are like branches of the tree, so there can be more hubs connected to it. Okay, so there will be branches like structure of all these hubs, which are again connecting back to a central hub or root hub. Okay, so this is a set of hubs, and now all the machines or all the devices are connected with the nearest hub. Whichever is the nearest hub, the device will always connect to that hub, and it will use this set of hubs or a network of hubs to communicate. And this network of hubs is like a tree which is having many branches, then fewer, then fewer, then very few, and then the root. Okay, so like this, it's tree type structure. That's why it is called as tree topology. Obviously, it is very expensive to implement because there are so many hubs involved, but it is comparatively fast and secure. Okay, because of the hub switching data from directly from transmitter to receiver. Okay, so that is the hub topology. And last is hybrid. Obviously, hybrid is nothing but combination of all. For few machines I'm using this topology, for few machines I'm using that topology. That is called as hybrid topology. You can see here in the diagram. So originally here is a bus topology. Now bus topology has one mode or one machine, one device directly connected, whereas to another tab there is a hub connected, to which is there in star way. And then to another tab there is one machine connected, which is part of a ring. So like this, we have adding three different topologies together to form one network. Okay, so you can make any permutation combination of all the topologies, all five topologies, as per the requirement, and that will be called as hybrid topology. Okay, so we were talking about the type of networks. Okay, and in type of networks we have seen all these topologies. There are physical topology, logical topology, five types of topology: bus, ring, star, mesh, tree, and hybrid. Okay, so at this moment we are already had at least one more than 1 hour of lecture, so we'll take 5 minutes break. Please don't get log out of this particular lecture. It's exactly 5 minutes break. So it's like we all sitting idle for 5 minutes and then resuming our lecture again. So it will be exactly 5 minutes break. Please don't get log out of this call, otherwise it will be a unnecessary overhead to the host to admit you again in the call. Okay, so please don't get log out. Just take a couple of minutes break and let's join back. Okay. Okay. Uh, Welcome back, everyone. Is anyone yet to admit? Okay. So I hope you all had this 2 minutes of. I was expecting a 5 minutes break, but we are already running out of time. So I taken just a 2 minute break. You also must be feeling better now because we have 40 slides and we are at the 21st slide. Okay, so that's what we have in our hand. So now we have seen what is communication network, what are then we have seen the transmission medium that is used for communication network, different elements of communication network, then the arrangement of the devices in the communication network, and different types of topologies that are formed because of the arrangement of communication networks. Okay, so now next thing that we want to know about the types of computer networks or types of communication network. Okay, so type of communication network are depending completely upon the size of it. Okay, so arrangement style वरनं आपण जे types बघितले that is topologies की अरेंज कसे केलेले आहेत डिव्हायसेस त्याच्यावरनं जे बनले त्याला आपण काय म्हणतो टोपोलॉजीज म्हणतो अँड when we say types of communication network it is decided by the number of machines or number of equipments that are taking participation in that particular network. So the size of the network, that is what decides the different types of communication network. So obviously size can be limited up to one house or one lab or a building or a set of buildings or a town or the entire world. Okay, so that is the different things or different phases at which we identify the communication networks. Okay, so the very basic first type of communication network is called as LAN, that is local area network. Okay, it is always referred to it as LAN, and the full form is local area network. Okay, so obviously LAN is a very small group of computers or devices communicating with each other, connected to each other. Maybe it is one lab of, you all must have seen the LAN of the computers in your lab. Okay, तुमच्या लॅब मध्ये computers असतात, so they are connected with each other via LAN. Okay, because it's a very limited area, no? So it is called as LAN. Okay, it may be restricted to one office, building or something like that. Okay, now LAN is used for connecting two or more personal computers. Now what are the devices that are being used in the LAN? Are personal computers or basic machines or basic devices which are having coaxial cables and switches that are allowing us to communicate, or that are allowing us to connect with the coaxial cable. Okay, so a single coaxial cable is there which is running through an entire block of building or entire office, and all the devices are connected to that particular cable. So that is the typical structure of any LAN. Okay, it is very less in cost, inexpensive in terms of hardwares, because we don't need too many hubs or data repeaters or Ethernet cables in this particular network. Okay, so this is what we call as low in cost or inexpensive in the basic form of hardware. Okay, so LAN is less costly. Okay, the data transfer is very fast because it's very short uh, distance that it has to travel to go from one machine to another machine. And as you can see, it is connected with coaxial cables. There is a direct wired connection between two devices, so that will be obviously very fast compare with other types of networks. Okay, so and also there is security because it's controlled by a single cable and a single hub. Obviously it is always very secure. Okay, so LAN, very less expensive, very fast data transfer, very secure, but there is very much restriction on the number of devices or the area, not number of devices, but the area in which the LAN is expanded. Okay, so it is restricted up to a single building or a single office. Okay, that is the first, that is LAN. So this is how typically we can represent LAN. And these are the examples: small company networks or educational labs, as we have in our college, or housing complexes. They have a LAN connection in between. So all the intercoms and all those smart devices are connected with each others. So that is example of LAN. Okay, then comes PAN. Okay, now PAN is actually a new term coined few years back, and it is called as personal area network. So it is like home network, or when you connect all the devices, electronic devices. Now, so few years back, it was even rare to have a computer or a personal computer in your house. Okay, nowadays everyone has its own computer, then I have my laptop, and then I have my mobile, then I have my iPad. So one person has got minimum 4 to 5 gadgets. Okay, and like that, if there are say 3 to 4 persons living in a house, there are so many devices. Then you have some audio controlled devices, like you have this Alexa and Google and all these things. So then you have smart TVs, then you have smart refrigerators, you can have smart washing machine or smart dishwashers. So togetherly, all these so many electronic devices are there in a single house, that you can create a network out of them. Okay, so how this network is created? Obviously, there is a single Wi-Fi connector or main Wi-Fi connector in your house, and all the devices are wirelessly connected with this particular single router. So obviously, they all togetherly form a network. Okay, so the personal area network covers an area of 30 feet. That's 30 radius. 30 फीटच्या रेडियस मध्ये जे काही सगळे डिव्हायसेस येतात, you can actually connect it with single hub, and you can create your own house network, and that will be called as a personal area network. Okay, why you are going to create it? Because that will help you to communicate in between. Like if I'm having a wireless printer there, so I can just give print command from my laptop, oh sorry, from my laptop, and it will print the things on printer. So how these two things are created? So here you can see, this is my laptop, this is my wireless printer, and this particular laptop or some hub, anything can work as hub. So it is going from my laptop to printer, okay, via some hub, some central device. Okay, so there can be wired personal area networks, there can be wireless personal area networks. You can form it with anything, but they are restricted to one house or one person's belongings. Okay, so this is how PAN. So this is a new kind of networks or new term coined. Previously it was not there. Nowadays it is there. PAN. Okay, now then comes the WAN. So it is the larger version of LANs. So when I have a restriction over the geographical area a LAN can cover. So LAN has very much restriction on the amount of devices it can communicate or connect with each other. When it grows a little bit more, it becomes MAN, and it is called as metropolitan area network. So these networks are typically expanded to one city or offices, multiple offices of same company. म्हणजे एकच कंपनी आहे त्यांची, समजा पुण्यामध्ये 4 ऑफिसेस आहेत, so connecting those offices together will be called as MAN. Or even if you have a hub, like a business hub or a business bay kind of building, and there are so many different offices working in there, so togetherly you are forming a network of all the offices in that particular business bay. So then it will be called as MAN. So MAN is the bigger version of LAN. Okay, so now MAN can be wired, it can be wireless. Then you now in LAN you have seen there is a one coaxial cable and everything connects to it. Instead of that, now there can be multiple LANs which are communicating with each other, or there can be different machines connecting with a single communication channel and creating a MAN. Okay, so it is a bigger version, so obviously it can be combination of wired and wireless technologies together, and it will create a MAN. Then this is how typically a MAN looks. There are multiple LANs, and all these LAN together will form a MAN. Okay, then when it grows further, there are many MANs, then togetherly it's called as WAN. So WAN or wide area networks, where the basic things, then came the ARPANETs, and then ARPANETs got converted into internet. Okay, so WANs were the first thing that was thought about. Like have this big network of telephone lines all over India. So before these mobile came, every house was having a landline. Okay, so there were trunks, there were big and actually biggest cable network in the world were Indian telephones. Okay, so that we will call as WAN. So WAN is a big uh, geographical area where there can be different ways of technology. So here you can see, so there can be mobile broadband connections, then there can be some private networks. Okay, so all these togetherly represent WAN. So if there is a mobile company, it is having many small areas in which they have towers. Then those towers are connecting with the devices. Then those towers are communicating with the satellite, and those satellites are transmitting signal here and there. And togetherly, this all is creating a WAN. So WAN is not a single network. WAN is collaboration of many mans, different kind of networks together to form a big network. Okay, and this was the concept behind internet. Okay, so the WAN, then the ARPANETs were the working implementation of WANs, and then from ARPANET, that we are going to see in next lecture, how ARPANETs got converted into internet. Okay, so these are the different topologies, different types of networks, depending on their area of expand. LAN, WAN, and MAN. PAN is very small. It is restricted to single person. Okay, so this was about the types of networks. Okay, now we will move further with the TCP/IP protocol stack. Obviously, TCP/IP protocol stack itself is a big thing. So the students who are pursuing their masters in computers or electronics must be knowing that a TCP/IP protocol stack or TCP/IP protocol suite is a paper in itself. Okay, you have an entire paper dedicated to this. Okay, so obviously it's a very big thing. We are not going to learn all these things into detail. We are just going to talk about in 2 or 3 slides what TCP/IP protocol stack is, and we will just move further. We are going to just do a touch and go on TCP/IP protocols. So whenever the devices are communicating over network, as I told you, we need a set of instructions. Okay, so once the message or the data follows that particular set of instruction, it will go from one place to another place. So saying said that, obviously there will be many different set of instructions. Obviously there won't be any one single set of instruction, because the data is traveling through so many different networks, so many different things. So obviously there will be different set of instructions which are working with different layer or level of communication. Okay, so obviously TCP/IP is not one protocol. They actually TCP/IP protocol stack is a collection of protocols, is a suite of protocols or a deck of protocols that is used to carry out communication between two devices. So we'll go through the slide. The network protocol is established to set are the established rules which are set to carry out the communication. Okay, so it allows the communication with each other regardless of any differences in the internal processes. So two devices, one is laptop and another is printer. Two devices, one is mobile and say another is your desktop. So two devices are entirely different, their working is entirely different, they are physically, logically completely different from each other, still they are able to communicate with each other, right? So this TCP/IP protocol is a set of protocols or set of rules that are created in such a way, in such a generality, that they allow any kind of device to communicate with any other kind of device irrespective of the differences. Okay, so TCP/IP slash actually is the noun created from TCP and IP. These are two protocols, and along with some more protocols, they create a set of protocols. Okay, so these protocols work equally well with LANs, WANs, MANs, whatever kind of connect network you are using. Even they are working in your house also. Right now when you are listening to your phone, the communication is happening, and this TCP/IP protocol is being used in between this particular communication also. Okay, so is a collection of protocols, as we have already seen. So TCP, transmission control protocol, and internet protocol are the two main or two most important protocols in this entire communication system. And even though these are most low level protocols, actually if you see the entire suite or entire set of protocols that are there in this TCP/IP suite, these are actually the most simplest and most low level protocols. But these are the two protocols which allow us to build your communication in generality. That means any device can communicate with any device. And because of this power of these protocols, the entire stack is named after them: the transmission control protocol, that is TCP, and internet protocol, that is IP. Okay. So also it contains very high level protocol that facilitate common applications such as email. Sending email from one place to another place needs a separate protocol that is called as, anybody remembers? If anybody is there from computer science, you all have studied this. Okay, so it's a electronic mail protocol, which allows you to transfer mail. Then there is FTP, file transfer protocol, which allow you to transfer file from one place to another place. So these all are high level protocols which are also part of this TCP IP suite. So you have to consider TCP IP protocol suite as a set of rules or different protocols that are created to make the communication happen. Okay, so in TCP IP protocol suites, all, so these are different protocols. हे इकडे जे लिहिलेत ना, FTP, SMTP, NSMP, then TCP, UDP, IP, ICMP, these all, Ethernet, these all are names of different protocols. You are not supposed to remember these at all. Okay, you have to remember only this, that this entirely is called as TCP IP suite, and there are so many different protocols in this, and these protocols are divided into 4 layers depending upon at which level of communication they are being used. Okay, so there are 4 levels of communication considered: application, transport, networking, and data link or link. And different protocols are assigned to each and every layer. Okay, so this is how the protocols in TCP IP suite are divided. Okay, so here you can see there are 4 layers. So there is one important function given to each layer. Okay, so at the top is the application layer. Okay, now application layer is actually sorry, this is application data, this is application layer. So application layer is the first layer which is communicating directly to your application. So I have this Zoom application running on my machine. So the application layer or the application protocols in my laptop are directly communicating with this Zoom application. Okay, so these are the first level protocols that are working with the applications in my machine. Okay, and what is the responsibility of it is to allow access to network resources. So this application layer will allow the applications to access the network resources. म्हणजे जे काही इंटरनेट कनेक्शन आहे माझ्या लॅपटॉपवरचं किंवा जे काही वायर्ड इतर कनेक्शन्स आहेत माझ्या लॅपटॉपवरची, ह्यांना कनेक्ट करण्याची परवानगी, enability to the application, this particular layer gives that. Then comes the transport layer. Okay. Now the responsibility of the transport layer is to provide reliable process to process message delivery and error delivery. Means taking message from one, say, Zoom application in my computer to the Zoom application in your device. Okay, so this is called as process to process message delivery. There is a Zoom process running on your machines, there is a Zoom process running on my machine. Now taking message from or taking data from one Zoom process and sending it to another Zoom process, this is called as process to process message delivery, and the transport layer is responsible for it. Then comes the internet layer. The internet layer is responsible for completing the transfer or adding all the headers which are needed to transfer. Like it will divide the entire data into packets, right amount, right length of packets. Then it will give heading to every packet where it should go. ऍड्रेस लिहायचा ना प्रत्येक पत्रावरती आपल्याला. So the internet layer does that. It will divide the data into packets, and it will wrap every packet into headers, and it will write all the destination addresses on the headers, and then it will prepare it for next, that is actually link layer or data link layer. And then comes the data link layer. Data link layer, the responsibility of data link layer is to allow the packets to travel through the physical medium. ऍक्च्युली जे रेडी पॅकेट आहे त्याला माझ्या लॅपटॉप मधनं आता ते माझ्या राउटर मध्ये गेलं. फ्रॉम माय राउटर इट गोज टू सम अँड टॉवर, कम्युनिकेशन टॉवर. From there it will make go to some satellite, from there back to your communication tower, from to your phone. So this is the physical medium. So this data link layer's responsibility is to carry out all this traversal. Okay, so that is data link layer. So these are the things about TCP/IP protocol. As I told you, we are not going into depth of this because this is a very very big thing. We just want to do a touch and go. Just you should know that whenever communication is happening, some rules are being followed, and these rules together are called as TCP/IP, and these are different set of rules that are there, which is allowing us to there is someone messaging that YouTube la काहीच आवाज येत. So now I can't do anything about it. I think instead of messaging me, if you message Vidya ma'am, Shan, if you message Vidya ma'am, because she is taking she is the host of the meeting and she is taking care of everything, so it will be her area of expertise. She will be able to do something about it. Okay, so this is what we are talking about, the TCP/IP protocol stack. And we have to remember, or we are only doing a touch and go here, so you have to remember all these things about TCP/IP. Remember this diagram. Actually this diagram has got so many things. It has got all the layers in TCP/IP. It has got all the names of the protocols that are part of TCP/IP, and it has got all the responsibilities. So this layer is doing this layer is doing this. So it is having the main thing like responsibility. Okay, so this is the diagram you should remember. Okay, now what we have remaining is wireless networks, but as I can see the time is running out, so we have a time limit of 3 to 5. So hope tomorrow we will start sharp at 3. I request you all to join the call at least 5 minutes before, because you can see we are at the slide number 35. I already told you there are 40 slides. So obviously tomorrow there are more 40 slides because we have to complete the entire syllabus in 4 days. So you have to remember that you have to join in time so that we will use entire 2 hours of the lecture to complete it. So whatever are the 5 slides remaining from today, with those slides and tomorrow's things that we will complete in tomorrow's lecture. Okay, so I'm doing stop share. I'm not sharing the slide, but I am on the call. So if you have any questions regarding whatever being taught today, I can answer your questions. Okay. Okay. So I hope you all have understood whatever being taught to you, and hope you don't have any questions regarding it. Okay. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, over to you, ma'am. Vidya madam, are you there? Hello, Vidya madam, are you there? Okay, she's not there. She must have left the call because I'm the host now. I'm no more co-host. Okay, so let it be. We will stop here today. Please join sharp before 3 tomorrow so that we will be able to complete the syllabus. Otherwise, it will be difficult for us to complete the syllabus in 4 days. Okay, so that's all from my side today. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, you can just hang up on the call. Let me hope that I will see you all tomorrow also. Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I want to ask.
Got a notice that it is only gonna be till April 7th.
What?
The lectures are only gonna be for 3 days, not 4 days.
No. The lectures are for 4 days and we need all 4 days of it.
Okay, but we just got, I think, just like 30 minutes ago, we got we got a notice, updated notice that on April 8th, there will be no lectures.
So I didn't got any such notice by now. What I am knowing is that there will be, but I will clarify it from every the people who are arranging all these lectures. So I will talk with them and I will let you know. Anyway, tomorrow we definitely have a lecture, so we are going to meet tomorrow. So we can always discuss these things tomorrow.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, now since the format is MCQ types,
Hmm.
I am a student of mass communication and journalism.
Okay.
We got a paper of same on 15th April in the evening.
Yeah.
So whatever you have taught with regards to the various topologies and various protocols, when I look for preparation with respect to MCQs, so how do I go forward?
Okay, so what we can do is I will provide you some. I will talk with madam. I think we can do it like I will provide you a restricted bunch of notes or something like that. Or I already have a PDF of my PPT, so you can use that PPT as a reference and you can prepare for the MCQs. So that will restrict, because I know if you actually go and start venturing for the syllabus, then each and every point is a book in itself if you go through the points then. So what we will do is we will have a strategy where I will provide you notes and we will stick to those notes for questions that we can do.
That will be fine, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am, that will be very helpful for us.
Yeah, but again for this I need to talk with the organizers, because I am not the one who is going to take any decision about how this entire process will be. I'm just supposed to teach
Okay,
you.
ma'am.
So I will talk with madam and we will have some solution to this problem. Definitely.
Hello, ma'am.
When can
Yes.
we expect the note?
Ma'am, can you share the PPT?
Yeah. What I will do is I will share the PPT with Madhura madam. She maybe share it with all your HODs and then you will get it on your WhatsApp, because I don't have any uh, way to communicate with you all. So what
Ma'am,
I can do is I can
you can upload it on your drive and you can share the link in the chat box.
no, that I will not do. Because
Okay.
see, if you see, no, there are more than 500 students, so I don't want to create that many links. I will just send it's a PDF, so I will send it to your HODs and they will share it on your. Anyway, every one of you is having a WhatsApp group for your class, so definitely you will get it from your class teachers or HODs. I don't know from where, but I will share it.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So I think that's all for today. I'm hanging up on the call. See you all tomorrow. Please log in 5 minutes before 3 so that we can start exactly at 3 so that we will be able to complete the entire syllabus in time. Okay.
Madam, send group la.
Yeah, it's the same link. It's a repeating call for all other days. So the link will be the same.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm ending the call now.
Yes, ma'am.
You may leave.